Hello, everybody. Welcome to my weird, wonderful world. And this is basically a bit of a ramble, but of course, I have a topic that I really think is important and I really want to talk about. It's kind of all over the place, but it's really focused on the one thing, which is embracing humanity, and, fighting for humanity, loving humanity, protecting humanity. Um, Shining a spotlight on the entities and the organizations and the programming and all that fakery that's out to dehumanize us as much as humanly possible, because that serves their purpose to dehumanize us, to make us no more conscious than your average zombie. They want us to be controlled. That's why you see AI infiltrating the internet the way it is, blocking out real people, pushing aside, us us humanity in order for that quick fix dopamine. You know, quick fix of dopamine. That's what it's all about, and it just for their own selfish ends. And it's up to us as humanity to kind of to step up to that. We have to, like, why I endorse the Constitution so so strongly these days. I've watched hundreds of police audit videos. It That compromises pretty much half of my content that I watch on YouTube. I mean, the other half is basically about 40. Uh, Most of that is watching real people, of course, like Larry Graves and and so many. Okay, so many. Uh, I don't want to just start naming everybody because people will say, "Hey, you left me out and you left me out." I want to watch you all. There's so many great channels I want to watch, and you guys know who the ones I'm talking about. If any channel that I have spoken of in any past videos of mine, all those channels are special and should be watched. And I wish I could watch more of them. We gotta bring humanity back. We gotta fight against the AI. We gotta fight against tyrants too. In real life. Yeah, I mean, so be it with this here, okay, on the internet. I'll get back to this in a second. I want to go back to the video I did a couple of days ago, okay? First of all, I want to apologize 100% for the bad quality of it. I'm still trying to upgrade. I'm still trying to do my best to give you the best quality. And when I was recording that using the OBS Studios, my computer hates multitasking. It does not like to do two things at once. Like you do one thing, it slows down the other thing, and vice versa, and it causes so much little problems here and there. But as you can see, like it just like I was recording with the OBS, but it didn't want to play. Like there was so much activity, I think, on the internet at that time that it just wasn't picking up it just wasn't flowing through fast enough. So that's why it was all freezy and choppy. And I completely agree with some people, even though I kind of deleted it because it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I was just not feeling it. They called me boring, and I kind of stupid me, I took a little of offense to that, and then I kind of regretted it after. It's like, wow, yes, it was boring. If I look at it objectively, yes, it was boring. But me, my little ego for that brief second kind of poked through, and I'm like, yeah, no, he was right. I don't know why I got a little miffed on that. I shouldn't have, and I apologize, and I'm apologizing now for that. But when I love humanity. I love freedom. Why do you think my studio is called, Studia Humanitatis Studio? It's the studio for the study of humanity, in order to bring us up, to push us forward, to to bring happiness to the world. The content that I'm trying to make is I'm trying to reach out to another human being and share my interest with people. And beyond my internet experience here, there's nothing that makes me happier than going and hanging out with my friends, and like even more on top of that is in enjoying music, playing, be able to share my music with other people, even share their music with me. I like learning about other people's, which is why I love watching other people's channels, that I learn about other bands. And again, there's so much that gets introduced that I wish I could get to everybody, but I do get to it. I do get to it. I mean, I was, by watching Scott Lade's the Prog Corner, I got the Jordy Griep album, which I am appreciating more and more. I need to listen to it again. It was just, I like that I have it. I really do actually love that I have it, and I'll never get rid of it because I do appreciate what it does. So yeah, I just like, and of course, what I'm super happy with, and I thank Larry for sending it to me, was the Claypool, yeah, the Claypool Lennon Delirium. The the Monolith of Phobos. Awesome album. I can't get enough of it, and other stuff that I've been, Sparks. For me, Sparks represents a bit of humanity. I love, and again, it's those bands that bring that sense of humanity that makes you question, sometimes, what they're talking about, and sometimes some songs can give you a deeper exploration of who you are, and where you come from, and is and music is from the beat of the heart, and so much more. It's about, for me, doing my channel is about bringing joy. But as I've said in my last post I made, I was saying how AI is dominating everything, and channels like mine are going to struggle because people want that quick fix. They want that quick fix. They want that, like, again, I started with the dopamine fix, and we need to fight against that. We need to stop going. We need to stop going on those short. They are so, like, even myself. I find myself, even when I'm at work. Okay, I sometimes will check those shorts, but I've stopped doing that. I'd rather play some videos, like some music videos, and play music with my brother on our break because he works at the same place I do, and that brings me a little bit more joy. Like yesterday, I forgot my phone at home, but I had my little my little tablet here, which is working perfectly. I have no issues whatsoever. Out of all the my upgrades that I got in the last, like, since starting this channel, this is the best one. This, like, by far, like, it does exactly what I wanted to do. I mean, of course, it just took a little bit of a learning curve of me having to learn how to use it, but now I know how to use it. I'm still discovering more cool things, and I'm going to be using it more, not as a device to it's not a device for me to get, like, to watch videos and stuff. I don't want any internet on here. The only time it's hooked up to the internet is when I'm here, and that's perfect. I was actually It didn't bother me at all whatsoever that I forgot my phone here last night. It Because it was just like, no, I don't need it. I was like, uh I can. It'll be cool when I check my progress. I always check my progress, a lot, on my channel, and I obsess over it a little bit. I don't ever look at the analytics because I just don't really. I understand it, but I don't think it really, really applies. I understand how people use it, but that's only if you're, you know, it's designed, okay, it's designed to set your videos up in a way to entice, and if you're following the advice in the way that they want you to make a video, okay, then but it takes out the human element. And the videos that I want to make, is throwing all the humanity at the screen and saying, do you agree or disagree with me? And it's okay. I don't mind you disagreeing with me. With that video that I made the other day, where I was talking about, you know, this is the most entertaining thing on the internet. That crazy old man, the one that was kept on freezing up on me when I played back. You know, I was getting some opposition on, but it was all good. Those were objective, observations, and those observations, you know, was coming from a human, very, very human, very caring person, okay? And recognizably so. And I wasn't arguing with the person. I was just actually just kind of where we were, you'll see in the comments, if you ever look for it, that we were having a discussion about it, or, throwing our point of view across. And I was pointing out, in that I embrace the Constitution of Canada, because it really is the source that, especially when it comes to the law. Now, I'm always mindful, and I've been mindful of this since I lived in Montreal, okay? Because I've dealt with police in Montreal personally, and I've seen things on the streets of Montreal personally with cops, and how cops kind of take charge and railroad you, and look for things to bust you on when you haven't did anything wrong. There's no victims. Nothing has been stolen. Nothing has been damaged. There's no victim, and but they want to, they want to spend their revenues. For them, it's just a revenue. They have a quota to fill, and they need to get a certain amount of arrest. I believe that, even though I don't believe it when they say that they don't do that. It is quota filled. And and again, when I see so many examples of how, you know especially in the United States, it does happen here in Canada too. And that's why I think it's so important for us to be able to stress test our rights and freedoms, I want to be able to go out and protect our freedoms, because it is a muscle. And if you don't use it, you will lose it. So, as I was saying, up in Montreal, I've learned this up in Montreal, that when you go out in public, there is no, ever, never expectations of privacy in public. To get all offended that somebody is filming you in when you're in public, I understand, and okay, I understand those two guys in the video, okay, were kind of egging the old man on a little bit. But the old man started it, and he was going to keep escalating it. He was. He was not done yet. Regardless of what those two young guys had said to the old man, okay, the old man was going to continue on that rant anyway, because he was just not didn't want them on there. Like the first, as soon as he said, what you're doing is illegal, and when it clearly is not, okay, he was going to completely, bust on him and take him down. Now, it's similar, okay, this is similar to the First Amendment of the United States, and this is the Canadian Charter of. I love this part. I love this section of Section B. I'm sorry, Section 2 of the Charter. Everyone has the following fundamental freedoms. And I cannot, stress this enough, and you should take this to heart. Freedom of conscious, being alive, my thoughts, my ideas, you know, and religion. I like to put a slash there and say and or religion, okay? Because sorry, I keep hitting the mic. I'm not necessarily a religious guy, you know. I have the things that I subscribe to. I have my concepts and ideas, my sort of beliefs, okay, and my sense of spirituality. That's where the conscious part comes in. We can both have that covers both sides of humanity, the believers and the non-believers, and it doesn't matter if they believe or you don't believe. We have that freedom to believe whatever we want to believe, again, as long as we're not harming the other another person, because if you harm another person, you're taking away their rights of consciousness, so it really covers that there. But B brings it even more into the fold. Freedom of thought, freedom to think whatever you want to think, freedom of belief, freedom of opinion, freedom of expression. They put them out separately here. Of like freedom of thought, belief. No, but I'm putting the freedom in front of every single one because it's important to including freedom of the press and other media of communication. Free press. Anybody, any public person has the right on public property to film whatever their eyes can see, regardless of the feelings of other people. So if your feelings are hurt that somebody is, photographing you, you really need to examine, you can't let your emotions dictate our freedoms. You got to protect our freedoms. C, freedom of peaceful assembly. We have the right to get together and that's mostly for petition sakes. We have the right on public property to petition, you know, things that we don't like about our government. We have the right to address our government. You know, I'm actually very much considering looking into going to the couple of the next town meetings, and sitting there and get my however 5 minutes it may be to say my thing to the whoever runs the office people, and then we got D, freedom of association. You have the freedom to associate with whatever party, and that could be political party, that you wish. Again, and there's more. It's about protecting our rights to do things, right? And then you get the legal rights. The right. Everybody has the right to life, liberty, and security of the person, and the right not to be deprived thereof, except in accordance with the principles of fundamental justice. Okay, you know, you have, every like, okay, but it continued that everybody has the right to be secure. I'm not here to give you a lesson in the Constitution. I just want to talk about the humanity. Just read the Constitution, whether United States or Canada. You know, our our fundamental rights and freedoms. I want to stress that the most. Okay, like, and how much I want to give you some human content, which is why this weekend, of course, especially next weekend, with with my brother's birthday coming up on the 22nd, I took a couple of days off, as well as my brother did, so they're gonna miss us at work for a couple of days. But it doesn't matter. It's the 22nd and the 23rd. We're gonna be off and doing stuff and partying and having fun. and and then I'll have that weekend off too. So it'll be 4 days in a row. I'm going to try to give you as much content as possible. We're going to paint our faces up. I'm going to give you some different content, but I just wanted to really kind of, while I still have the time, to talk about some of these important issues. My brother and I were going to be drinking some vile some vile concoction. Alcohol tastes bad, but it's the effect that people drink it for. And I want to mix it. I want to be mixing it with some pure pineapple juice. Again, that's the human thing. I'm not here to try to go out of my out of my human zone and try to be Mr. I want to be the opposite of Mr. Beast and every single soulless AI contributor out there. You know, we need to find and shut down all these AI content farms. And that's what it is, a content farm. Me and my brother, we're going to be doing this hot chip challenge. The hot chip challenge. I got one for me. I got one for him. There, you can hear that they're in there. You know, I have one from last time that I did, and you can watch that. I had done it live. I don't think we're going to be doing it live, but and now that I have my my tablet, I want to do some more outside filming in that. So the chip challenge, we might do it outside somewhere, depending if the weather is decent. It's kind of raining off and on here. The weather pattern is doing some weird, wacky stuff. So we're going to have some weird, wacky weather for the next couple of days. But yeah, all right. I think I'm going to wind down with this. It's just to say that I wish we can all embrace each other and find the humanity and and okay. One last thought. On Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson a couple of days ago, and that I watched a video where they were talking about the dangers of our quick fix culture, and that we should not be giving any type of multimedia that gives that dopamine fix to kids under the age of 14 to 16. Watch, please go watch that video. I'll see if I can't find it, and eventually I'll leave it down in the comments below, okay, or somewhere. I really, yeah, uh, I really want to bring this home to you guys that we gotta bring humanity back to the human race, to humanity. I understand. I understand the appeal that those fake enterprises has, and that quick fix, dopamine fix. It's we're addicted. You're addicted to it. I'm weaning myself off of it as much as possible, which is why you don't see me on platforms like TikTok or Instagram or any like that. I barely even like to go on 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 Facebook. I'll still go on Facebook to check messages and that here and there, to talk with to chat with my friends and family if there's something important that I need to contact them for. But besides that, I just yeah, I just don't. I like calling them up and say, hey, I'll meet you this time. Like just a quick message saying, yeah, we'll meet up on so and so day and blah 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 blah. You know. So yeah. All right. Okay. I can babble forever here. I gotta get ready for work soon. But anyway, you know how much I love you all out there. Even if you haven't subscribed to me yet, don't subscribe to me right away. Just go watch some other videos. Again, it's all about the connections. It's all about making. I want you to be happy. If you're coming here and just to kind of pick on a person for because they're different from you and being weird, which I embrace the weirdness. Then you go somewhere else. I want real people with real, with some integrity and some decency. To, people like me, people who are good people. And I know you are good people too, even though you probably, are judgmental in that. We all can change. We can all improve, and I hope that everybody can see the light and just stop polluting your mind with the dribble and garbage out there. Find human contact. Contact. Okay, okay. I'm gonna start going off again. I love you. Just okay. Hit the like button. Help my algorithm out. Watch more than 9 minutes of me, please. At least. And if you can share it. Promote real people. Stop watching the fake. All right. I love you. Please be safe. Be safe. Take care. Absolutely. Take care. I will see you on the flip side. And please, everybody, just have a great evening, day, morning, night, even if it's 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't care what time it is. I don't care where you are. I don't care who you are. I love you, and peace, everybody. Peace on earth. Peace.